Welcome back to the Declarative Academy. In this Winter 26 update, we're turning our attention to integration, what's new, what's more secure, and how to connect systems cleanly without creating long-term maintenance pain. We'll look at Mulesoft for flow, integration, safer ways to handle access tokens, new binary file support in external services, simpler OAuth 2.0 client credentials using external authentication providers, and better ways to stage and rotate credentials. As usual, we'll finish with a short quiz that mirrors Trailhead, so you're set up to pass the unit on your first try. Let's start with delivery speed. Mulesoft for flow. Integration is all about connecting Salesforce to external systems without writing custom middleware. Instead of building and maintaining bespoke integrations, you can use pre-built third-party connectors directly inside Flow. These connectors let you react to changes in external systems, perform actions, and map data cleanly as it moves between platforms. For example, imagine a new contact being created in NetSuite. An external system change triggered Flow can detect that update, pull the data, and create a corresponding lead in Salesforce. Or flip the direction. When an order is created in Salesforce, the connector can post a sales order back to NetSuite automatically. All of this is configured declaratively, which dramatically reduces build time and long-term upkeep. You manage connections centrally from the Connections tab in the Automation Lightning app. That's where you authorize endpoints, inspect discovered metadata, and reuse connections across multiple flows. One important governance note: only grant the Manage Integration Connections permission to users who really need it. That single control goes a long way toward keeping integrations predictable and secure. Next up is a security change that's small but important. Passing access tokens in a URL is risky because URLs can end up in browser history, logs, and intermediary systems. Starting in Winter 26, Salesforce blocks GET requests to the single access endpoint if the access token is included in the query string. The fix is straightforward. For GET requests, always send the token in the authorization header using the bearer pattern. For POST requests, you can still include the token in the header or the request body. The principle is simple: secrets should never live in URLs. Take a few minutes to review existing integrations now, because anything relying on query string tokens will eventually stop working. Handle file-based integrations with external services. File integrations are much easier in this release. External services now supports binary file transfer, which means you can upload and download files like images or PDFs directly from Flow or Apex. You start by defining put or get operations for files in your OpenAPI specification. Salesforce then generates an invocable action you can call from your automation. On the Salesforce side, files are handled as content document records, which keeps storage efficient and works well with platform limits. This is especially useful when integrating with document management systems, media services, or any external platform that deals in files. You avoid custom HTTP code and keep everything consistent with the rest of your integration strategy. Just be mindful of payload sizes, since large files can still impact limits and timeouts. Some APIs make OAuth more complicated by requiring extra parameters, like an audience value, when exchanging client credentials. In the past, this usually meant custom Apex. Now it's fully declarative. You can configure an external auth identity provider, select the client credentials flow, and add any required custom request parameters directly in setup. Then you create an external credential that's managed by that external auth provider. Salesforce stores the client's secret securely and handles the token exchange for you. The benefit here is consistency. Teams no longer need to reinvent OAuth logic in code for every integration. Everything lives in configuration, which makes it easier to support, audit, and update when third-party APIs change their requirements. Finally, let's talk about credential hygiene. Long-lived secrets are a security risk, and manual rotation doesn't scale. Winter 26 introduces API support for staging, rotating, and deleting external client app credentials. The lifecycle is clean and automatable. You retrieve the client app ID from the OAuth usage endpoint, post stage credentials, rotate them when you're ready, and delete old credentials once they're no longer needed. When you automate this process on a schedule, you reduce exposure and bring your integrations in line with modern security expectations. This is one of those features that doesn't change how integrations behave day to day, but it makes a huge difference when auditors, security teams, or incident response get involved. And that's everything, guys. Let's take a look at the quiz. Question 1. What does Mulesoft for Flow integration allow you to do inside a flow? A. Upload binary files with external services. B. Rotate credentials using OAuth endpoints. C. Pass access tokens in query strings. D. Use third-party connectors. Correct answer, D. It lets you use pre-built connectors to trigger actions and move data across systems without custom code. Question 2. Where should you include an access token for a secure GET request? A. In the URL query string. B. In the authorization header. C. In the browser address bar. D. In a session cookie. Correct answer, B. Tokens should always be sent in the authorization header, not in URLs. Question 3. What new external services capability supports file-based integrations? A. Event streaming. B. Credential rotation. C. Binary file transfer. D. Change data capture. Correct answer, C. External services can now upload and download binary files like images and PDFs. Question 4. Which OAuth flow supports custom request parameters using external auth identity providers? A. Refresh token. B. Client credentials. C. Password. D. Implicit. Correct answer, B. The client credentials flow can now be configured declaratively with parameters such as audience. Question 5. What improves security for external client app integrations? A. Regularly rotating staged credentials. B. Refreshing credentials manually once a year. C. Extending credential expiration times. D. Reusing the same API key across apps. Correct answer, A. Staging and rotating credentials, ideally through automation, reduces risk. Key takeaways. To wrap up, Mulesoft for Flow helps you build integrations faster with less custom code. Access tokens now belong firmly in headers rather than URLs. External services can handle files natively. External auth providers make OAuth client credentials cleaner and more declarative, and staged credential rotation gives you proper secret lifecycle management. Put these patterns together and your integrations become easier to maintain, more secure, and far more resilient as your architecture evolves.
If this was helpful, give the video a like, subscribe for more admin-friendly Salesforce tutorials, and drop any questions in the comments. We read them all. See you in the next one.